when you get into long-term relationship or marriage, there's a familiarity there, there's a comfort, there's a security there that feels so great.
Right.
But the problem with security and comfort is it doesn't keep us on our toes.
Right.
And so that can turn into laziness, complacency. So are you attracted to you? Do you feel as if you are marketable out there? And if you don't, okay, well, what is it physically that we need to make aesthetically pleasing, right? After you've done the internal work, because I believe in coaching, I believe in therapy, I believe in you making sure you go to the retreats, take the, listen to the podcast, do the things that you need for your healing, go back to church, whatever it is you need to do internally. But there is an external factor that we cannot ignore.
Right.
I'm gifting you the brand new, book that just came out and the cover looks like fresh and clean versus a used book that has been passed around multiple times.
Right.
It doesn't feel as much as a gift when it looks like a hand-me-down.
Right.
And so, no, we want to not only feel good about ourselves, but we also want to make the other person feel good about our presentation as well.
And I see you looking at my nails. Don't be looking at my nails.
No, I'm not looking. I like red. I'm not looking at your nails. I need a feel too. It's time for me to get a feel too, okay?
Welcome back to Legally Uncensored. I am your host, Demetria Graves, and here we break down divorce, love, law, and the messy middle of relationships. Today, we're talking about love. We are breaking down love choices, dating patterns, magnetic attraction, and what happens when we don't know ourselves or repeat our past mistakes. Even though I am a divorce lawyer, I do believe in love and making sure that individuals can get through the divorce from the business perspective and even finding love again if you so choose. Our guest today is Spicy Madi, CEO of The Spicy Life, a relationship expert and magnetic matchmaker. She's helped countless people attract the love they deserve, created her Spicy Method, and stars on Netflix, MTV, and Paramount Plus as a relationship coach. Spicy Madi, welcome to Legally Uncensored.
The crowd goes wild. Thank you for having me.
You're welcome. I did a brief introduction, but tell us about yourself.
Oh, where do I begin? Okay, so I was born in San Diego. No. Thank you so much for having me on the show.
Of course.
You got me familiar with what you do as well. So this is going to be a fire conversation. Right? But you asked me about myself.
Yes.
So I am a relationship coach, magnetic matchmaker. I really help singles with how to become more magnetic so they can attract their purpose mate. Okay. When it comes to couples, I'm helping them reignite that fire and that flame back into the relationship and essentially make sure that they're aligned with their purpose mate, right? So how do they get on the same page? How do they manifest all of the relationship goals and start to communicate more effectively?
That's awesome. And a lot of my clients probably need you.
Yes. Oh
As
my
they're
gosh.
going through.
Yes, they do. I actually get a lot of attorneys, though, that come to The Spicy Life.
Really?
Yes.
Well, I guess because they don't really have time to really,
it's not the time.
What is it?
How you guys fight. Y'all go for blood. And so majority of my clients, though, are trying to now date intentionally.
Right.
They come to me when they're in a certain season, right? They want their purpose mate. They want that partner who's going to help them achieve their greater purpose in life together.
Right.
And so when they're ready for me, it's because they've exacerbated all the options. They've made tons of mistakes and they're now ready to do the work.
Right. And we're done fighting.
I teach you guys how to fight fair and appropriately for relationship because it looks very different from when you guys are in the court and, in between the contracts.
You know what? I feel guilty because I'm like, that might be true.
We
I'm
gonna
gonna
help you out.
So that brings me to an interesting point, right? Because a lot of people, when they call me, they always say, my partner was wrong. My partner was a narcissist. It's all about what they did.
Yeah.
How do we get people to start looking inward and say, what did I do?
Ooh, lots and lots of therapy. No, I think that everybody, and this is actually a part of my process at the Spicy Life. Everybody who comes in, I give an assessment based on SPICY, which is self, passion, intimacy, communication, and learning to say yes. But one of the first exercises that I have my clients do based on self so that they can reflect is a SWOT analysis, right? And you do that in corporate America. We do it now in our relationship.
Right.
And so when you turn it inward, it looks very much like, okay, well, let's look at all of the strengths because you need to be confident. I need to know what makes you amazing so that we can now make sure that we pitch that to the next person.
Right.
But then we look at the weaknesses, right?
And most people don't want to do that.
They don't want to do that part of the SWOT. That usually looks like, well, if I were to call your ex, right? Where would they say that you should grow? Where would they say that here are the things that you need to work on, which cause a lot of problems in the relationship? And then we look at the opportunities. Okay, well, if I work on these things, these are the great things that will happen if I do work on my communication, if I do work on my criticism, if I do work on maybe, my ego. And then the threats is, well, what happens if you don't?
Right.
What's the consequences of that, of what's going to happen if we don't work on this? And when they start to look at what the consequences are and they start to, their imagination goes, wow, because they've already experienced some form of trauma, having to, sever a tie with someone, they start to take it a lot more seriously.
Right.
And they're like, well, let me get to work.
Is it challenging? Do people have a hard time writing out their weaknesses?
People actually tend to be pretty critical of themselves.
Right.
It's not the obvious ones.
Right.
It's the ones that make them go super introspective and putting themselves in somebody else's shoes, right? Because I can give myself my own criticism, but when it comes to, okay, but what are the blind spots that you're not seeing in the relationship? How could you become a better communicator? How can you actually become better at intimacy? That tends to be a huge one for men and women.
Right. And so we're going to get to your spicy life.
We'll get there.
But what do people, just in general, need to abandon to be better partners?
Ooh, they need to be right. They need to be right. Sorry, lawyers, I'm going to throw you guys under the bus.
Leave us alone.
You guys are the perfect example. But a lot of us want to win. A lot of us, when it comes to relationship, we think that, I'm choosing this person because, they make me feel so great. And, I love the happy moments and I want to spend my life with this person. But I always have to push it to, have you fought yet with this person?
Right.
Experience the conflict, because when you experience the conflict, that's going to be the answers for whether this can be long-term or not.
Right.
And when you get to how do you fight and how do I fight in order to resolve, are we even capable of resolving? A lot of people don't know how to manage conflict in a constructive way. And so that usually looks very much like I'm going to tear you apart because I don't like the lens in which you see me. And so I'm going to try to convince you otherwise.
Right.
But a lot of it is the breakdown of communication.
Right. And I've noticed a lot of people, whatever it is, too busy, just out of relationship, whatever, don't really know how to date. So a lot of people will say, oh, I have these standards and what I want. So are people really picking from standards, or are they picking from what's familiar, which can be very, very toxic and not necessarily what they need?
Need is the most important thing, right? We usually go after what we want, not necessarily what we need. What we need is what is good for us. What we need is what makes us a better person. What we want just feels good. And there is a difference between need and want, okay? So I want to make that very clear. The majority of the time, those standards or what we're accustomed to usually comes from family. It comes from outside influences. It comes from what the media told you. It comes from what you experienced in past relationships. So all of those three things affect you and not just how you see yourself, but how you see yourself in relationship and how it should be versus, well, how do I actually thrive better? How do I join into a partnership where I'm helping this person grow and they're helping me grow? What does that look like? Versus what is your mama telling you that you should have, or your bestie, or Instagram?
Or what he looks like.
The physical appearance thing, people always feel like, well, if I focus on finding a good person, I'm gonna have to settle for looks. And I'm like, no, actually, we date with a good person being the goal. And then we just choose the most beautiful person from that. Versus I'm going to go from good looks and then I'm going to try to find whether they have a great character or not.
Right.
We're doing it backwards.
Right. Are you saying lawyers do that too?
I say everybody does that. Majority. Let me be careful with my words because people do like, wait, it's not everyone. It isn't everyone, but a lot of people, they prioritize physical attraction over the compatibility component.
Right. And so we're talking about a lot of details, right? And a lot of my clients, they've been married, they want to get out. What is a good strategy to ease them into it, right? Because a lot of them just aren't ready yet.
I don't want to say that they need to start doing the work.
Right.
But it is going to be effort that they may not have been used to. When you get into long-term relationship or marriage, there's a familiarity there, there's a comfort, there's a security there that feels so great.
Right.
But the problem with security and comfort is it doesn't keep us on our toes.
Right.
And so that can turn into laziness, complacency. And so I like to start with them doing just an image evaluation, kind of like what we talked about when it comes to SWOT. But now we add in the aesthetics as well. So are you attracted to you? Do you feel as if you are marketable out there? And if you don't, okay, well, what is it physically that we need to make aesthetically pleasing, right? After you've done the internal work, because I believe in coaching, I believe in therapy, I believe in you making sure you go to the retreats, take the, listen to the podcast, do the things that you need for your healing, go back to church, whatever it is you need to do internally. But there is an external factor that we cannot ignore.
Right.
And when clients come to the spicy life, I kid you not, I'm cutting ear hair out of men's ear, and women, I'm like, wait, so we're just not gonna have our feet done because you've been married for 15 years? No.
Right.
You are back out there. We need to market you accordingly.
Right.
And that's not to say that you can't be a down to earth person, but there is a difference between handing someone, right? Because we're gonna use judging a book by its cover. There's a difference between, I'm gifting you the brand new, book that just came out and the cover looks like fresh and clean, versus a used book that has been passed around multiple times.
Right.
It doesn't feel as much as a gift when it looks like a hand-me-down.
Right.
And so, no, we want to not only feel good about ourselves, but we also want to make the other person feel good about our presentation as well.
And I see you looking at my nails. Don't be looking at my nails.
No, I'm not looking. I like red. I'm not looking at your nails. I need to feel too. It's time for me to get a feel too, okay?
And that's interesting you say all of that, because I notice so many people end up with the same exact person in a different body and a different look, because I don't think we all, and I'm saying we because I'm not exempt, don't take a minute to do the work that you're explaining. So a lot of second divorces, they look a lot like the first, and they get divorced a lot faster.
Absolutely. The great thing about divorce, though, right, is for the singles who haven't ever been married, there's like a flood of people back on the market because that are now going to be viable candidates. But the rate for divorcees who remarry is very high.
Right.
Okay. So you know this. It's about 67%. For men, 68%. For women, it's about 64%. Like those numbers can be skewed a little bit based on whatever year it is. But that's the averages of the rate.
Right.
Which means that majority of people who are divorcing actually want to be in relationship again. So even though they may sound like they hate marriage, they really want partnership.
Right.
Like they want that companionship.
Yeah, people tell me all the time, I'm never getting married again. And then I get a wedding invitation 6 months later.
No.
Yeah.
But sometimes you have lost hope.
Right.
And sometimes you do feel like it was marriage's fault and why you were unhappy for so long. But usually what happens is you stopped growing. So it's very attractive when you start a relationship, and this is based on self-expansion theory. You look at the person's growth and what they're doing and how they motivate themselves and what they're involved in, their passions, all the things in life. And you're like, ooh, I want to be a part of that. I want some of that for myself. Then that turns into growth through my involvement. If I have Demetria in my life, I'm going to now be invited to the lawyer's ball. I'm going to be able to have her look over my contracts. I'm going to be exposed to the who's who of people, right? You're expanding my world. But then we get together and time passes and you've gotten comfortable with the relationship, you stop growing. So I internalize that. And now I'm not less sexually attracted to you because you stopped growing, therefore you're stunting my growth. And if you're stunting my growth, now I'm concerned and have anxiety for the future because you're not motivating me to do better. I'm not motivating you to do better. We have nothing to share anymore outside of maybe just the kids and what they have going on. And we no longer have a relationship based on the goals and who we're going to become. It's really just based on what's presented in front of us.
Right.
And the growth part is the sexiest part. The growth part is the whole new world that you were going to expose them to.
Right.
But you stopped growing each other's worlds.
Right.
So now I'm not as turned on. Now I don't want to take my panties off, And so that is a huge factor that happens. We lose our passion in the relationship.
Right. So does location matter for dating? Because you hear everyone say California's terrible, Atlanta's terrible, New York is terrible. Does that matter?
Yes. Mm-hmm. I will say location matters because there are going to be different cultures, different economics that play a role in, people's ability to be able to afford to date. I will say the more important thing, though, outside of geography, is you having the dating skill set. Because you can't always choose the city that you want to relocate to. And even if you do relocate, if you don't have the dating skill set, you're still going to be lost in the sauce.
Right.
It's not enough to just be cute. It's not enough to just be smart. You have to have relational skills.
Right.
And that's where I come in.
Wow. Because to your point, a lot of lawyers, not all, right? Because a lot of you are happily married, but a lot of us didn't focus on that. We focused on going to school. We focused on getting our careers together. And then by the time you're like, oh, shit, I forgot to go back and
date get in a relationship and get my man.
Right. So I can see how that happens. But before we get into the spicy life, because I'm taking notes myself, how do you make the space? Like, a lot of people are going to say, I'm too busy for this. I can't do this and that. Like, what are we doing?
I love this question because that is everybody's excuse, right?
Right.
It's like, oh, well, I don't have time.
Right.
I don't have time to pursue something that would add joy to my life. I don't have time to meet a partner and double my income. I don't have time to, because all those things come with relationship, right? There's a lot of benefits. And we talk so much about the negative things. We need to talk more about the perks. But time is one of those things that is extremely valuable. You need to create, my spicy tip is you need to create a calendar where you give yourself something for self-care, something for self-love, something just for yourself, okay, a week. You also need to put on there something for connection a week. So whether that looks like you going on a date, whether that looks like you going out, you need to start making a social calendar where you're putting it on there and you're like, this is my challenge to myself, okay? I need to hit up 4 new spots this month that have a ton of men or women in the demographic of what I'm looking for. And I'm gonna go, and I'm not just gonna show up. I'm going to be attractive. I'm gonna communicate. I'm gonna introduce myself. I'm not just gonna wait on someone to make the connection. I'm gonna be the connector.
Okay, Marty, I'll do that next week.
You're not gonna make a calendar. You guys, I'm telling, and this is why it exists, because I can tell you the stuff and I know you're not gonna do it. And this is why clients still come to me, because they need me in their ass. They need me actually saying, okay, so what's our event this Saturday? Because I see you didn't do, you're telling me you want to be with a lawyer. Okay, well, where are the lawyers this weekend? Why don't you know that? Why don't you know what it is that you're looking for and where they are? And that's why I have to help them.
You're right, because I'm all into March Madness right now. And I'm like, I'm going to go out and see and hang out. I'm at home in the living room. So you are absolutely correct. And another issue I've seen with lawyers is they don't like to do online dating because of the people, they might run into clients. So what do you say about that? If like, I'm done with online dating.
I have a lawyer right now who is living her best life. This man is about to propose. And she had the same mindset. Okay. So the whole point of why I work with folks is because I understand I have to transform perspectives to fuel connections. So in order for me to do that, you do have to have an open mindset. It doesn't have to look like you are 100% online, but we're not going to just throw out all the tools. You just don't know how to use that tool effectively. You don't know how to use the apps or the websites effectively. You don't know how to do your dating profile. You don't know how to funnel a man down to get him to ask you out this week, because we don't do 3 weeks of texting. I want my date this week. Let's get to it. A lot of people don't know the psychology behind it and the behavior of what they need to be doing and how they need to be showing up energetically as well to guide
Right.
the person who they want to get what they want. And that is where the coaching comes in, of course. But they couldn't influence their previous partner, right? They get the divorce. They couldn't influence that person to get their way. Then they step out of it and they still don't understand how to seduce, how to influence, how to motivate. And those are key factors in getting anybody to do what you would like.
Right.
And I have to teach them that.
Right. Okay, ladies, we can't get off of online dating. So to what I've been waiting for, the spicy life. What is it?
The spicy life or my spicy method?
Your spicy method.
I'm like, the spicy life is a
that's going to
company.
give you the spicy life, though, right?
Well, the Spicy Life is, so I have a program at the Spicy Life, and it's called the Spicy Life program.
Right.
And that is my 90-day program where I immerse myself in your life. And it's based on my spicy method.
Okay.
So it's based on self, passion, intimacy, communication, and learning to say yes.
Right.
So those are the 5 ingredients you need for a healthy relationship to attract your purpose mate.
Right.
For 90 days, I'm literally taking over your communication, your phone, any contact that you have with men. I'm giving you flirtation, dating tools. I'm helping you with the image consultations. I'm going through the growth guide, the workbooks that I give you, the relationship roadmaps. It's a lot of work. I'm not going to lie. I like to call it effort though. But it's because we need to prepare you for the next relationship so that you don't have that high percentage of divorce, right? Because after the first divorce, the chances increase even more of a second divorce exponentially. So we have to do the work so that we can make sure that this go round, we're not showing up as the same person, choosing the same people, right? Because we talked about, patterns.
Right.
And that's why we want to make sure that, well, what didn't you do in your past relationship that we need to work on? Where do we need to grow?
Right. I think that's the hardest thing I see. A lot of people and we talked about this, but they place the burden in the other's lap, right? They were the narcissist. That's the big one these days, right? They did me wrong.
Everybody out here diagnosing.
Without degrees.
First off.
Okay, Madi, since I'm in the hot seat, I'll use me. How do I implement spicy in my own life?
Spicy stands for self, passion, intimacy, communication, and learning to say yes. Self is who are you, what do you want, and what do you have to offer? Passion is what passions do you have in your life, and what passions are you going to bring to the relationship, and how do you evoke passion from the partner that you want? Intimacy is about how you connect. How do you share, provide vulnerability, but also pull it out of them, okay? So that's the essential for trust. Communication is how do you deliver all of that information, and how do you resolve conflict? Yes is what's holding you back, where the limiting beliefs. Do you understand the art of negotiation and how to do it in a way that both of us feel like winners? And there you have it. You have been spiced. But there's exercises in between, right? There are a ton of challenges that I give in that process. So if you were to come to the Spicy Life, of course, we would assess first, where do I need to help you the most? Usually it's with emotional intimacy. The struggle with intimacy is if you've been hurt, right? There's wounds that we need to look at. Is it your unhealed feminine wounds? Is it your unhealed masculine wounds? How do we balance that? Because you need both energies to be natural and in a healthy state in order to be more magnetic for your purpose mate. And so looking at, okay, where the areas that I need to grow is the most important factor. But with intimacy, it's really about reestablishing trust of self, your decision making, because you might not trust yourself because you just went through a divorce and maybe you felt like you chose the wrong person. Okay, well, trust of self is what is going to help you with your discernment and you being able to look for the evidence that this next person is safe, this next person is healthy for me. And so if I trust myself, you also will then trust me if I demonstrate based on my trust formula what to do in order to guide them there. But usually it looks very much like guiding the person to vulnerability.
Right.
And a lot of us have a hard time with that.
Yeah. And a lot of people just have a hard time in doing the work in general.
Yes.
So if there's anything Madi said that that is you and you need some work, you have to call her, right? Because she's going to walk you through that. And the more that we do the work and get clear and trust ourselves and give ourselves the grace to kind of navigate this and heal what needs to be healed, the better your next relationship will actually be. So with that said, we're going to talk to both men and women in terms of what we both need to work on. So let's start with, we always start with men. So we're going to start with the women. Where are women getting it wrong?
Women are getting it wrong in the intimacy part. And let me break this down. A lot of women, because we've been given permission culturally, socially, to be emotional, we think that we are emotionally available. We think that we have high emotional intelligence. While I do believe we are the superior creature and we are more emotionally intelligent, we don't know how to guide men to emotional intelligence. And so because we think that, well, I'm an emotional person, so I'm emotional. No. Emotional intelligence actually has self-awareness, self-regulation. You need to have the social skills, the communication skills. You need to be able to self-regulate, and that is the most important part. And so we think that he should just become emotionally intelligent on his own and then come to us, but he's only as well trained as his previous partners. So if you don't have the tools, how are you going to help him grow? Is it your responsibility? Yes, it is. And I know people are like, well, I need him prepackaged and da-da-da-da. No. Growth is a process. And so there's always going to be work involved in any relationship. You can pick and choose your battles, but we are in this relationship to help coach one another. You're going to make me better. I'm going to make you better. We're not going to be stagnant. So if we are superior in that area and we can heal some of those wounds, we can then enhance and help him elevate.
Right.
But he's got to be the right candidate.
Right.
That I help you guys
that's
with.
a whole
Because y'all don't know
nother-
how to spot the difference between the villain and the hero. I'm going to help you spot the difference.
Okay, so I know we always get on the men, but men, there's some things you can be doing too. And what is that?
So I think that it is very similar, but we're going to flip it. Men are used to having permission to be selfish, to be very much in their ego. And for a long time, we celebrated it, we coddled it, we acquiesced to it. And one thing is that men don't understand women. They can pull them. They think that they can shine some flashy things. What women need is mutual submission as well. And what that looks like is service. Okay. If you are a man who doesn't know how to prioritize, if you aren't disciplined mentally, physically, sexually, all of the above, you aren't going to understand how to guide a woman's emotions. You aren't going to understand how to serve her. I think it's a mutual. We always hear that women need to submit. Yes, a woman can submit, but it should be expected in return. But it looks different. For a man, the submission looks very much like, how can I take care of you? How can I show up for you? How can I override my lack of desire to do what's inconvenient and do what's best for the relationship? So for men, it needs to be, I'm going to push back what feels good and what's comfortable, and I'm going to instead serve the greater good and what's the goal in this relationship. And the goal in this relationship is to understand you and to please you.
Right. Ooh, we all have a lot to do. With that said, there's all this conversation about 50-50. Should I do it? Shouldn't I do it? Who does it? Who doesn't do it?
No comprendo. ¿Qué? ¿Cómo? ¿Qué? ¿Mande?
So you're against it?
50-50?
Yeah.
That's just like impossible.
Right.
It's impossible. It's not even a desire. I believe in equity, not equality.
Right.
And so we are built different. We think different. I think, in the future, that'd be great if we were all robots and we were all on the same playing field. But I think when it comes to the responsibilities of each one, it should be focused on strengths. I think that there's qualities within both genders, right, that have leadership abilities. So you should, of course, focus on the areas that you can enhance, and I as well, if we are partners. But I do not believe in it needing to be split down the middle. I think when it comes to energy, it's impossible to be split down the middle. I think when it comes to finances, it should absolutely not be split down the middle. As women, we always are going to overserve, overperform, overcompensate. And so there needs to be some compensation for our overcompensation.
Right.
And what I mean by that is men get to skate. Next lifetime, I'm coming back a dad. Next lifetime, I'm coming back a husband. Because what? Like the things that we, and the way that we show up in such excellence, while I love us as women, men have received permission, and part of it is society, right? Where they only need to focus on providing.
Right.
So if that's the one area where they have been trained to focus on, I'm definitely not going to take your guys' one area that I know you're going to do your best to show up in and try to match you 50-50 there either. No. I'm over here doing probably so much more. You need to take care of 70. It needs to be 70-30. That's the way we run it in my household, okay?
I like it.
Like I'll take care of like fun little cute lifestyle stuff, but my husband's paying the hard bills.
Another big topic we hear a lot is the alpha woman.
Yes.
What are your thoughts there?
I am an alpha woman. I need you guys to understand that alpha woman is leaders, okay? We run the show, we run the pack, we know how to do things with a high level of excellence and self-determination. The alpha woman is also used to working hard to be in a position of power.
Right.
Up against an alpha man, it can be very challenging in a relationship. It's great in the workplace when your leadership plus my leadership, but there always does need to be in relationship a moment when the leader says, how can I make you feel good about this? How can I serve you in this moment? And if as an alpha woman, you don't understand how to guide the male psyche, you will be in trouble. If you don't understand how to feed that ego, because we're still living in 2026, last time I checked, it's not going away in our lifetime. So you need to feed it, but you have to do it in a productive way. And that's where the emotional intelligence and the self-regulation comes in. What do I need to do in this moment? And the self-awareness. What do I need to do in this moment to make sure that you still feel good about the decision that we're going to make? And I'm going to make you think it's your idea.
Right.
If you don't know how to do that in a relationship, right? You probably know how to do it in the workplace. But if you don't know how to do that in a relationship, you're going to be in trouble. Because as an alpha woman, if you have decided that an alpha man is best for you, let's test it. How do you guide? Let me use that softer word. How do you guide the alpha energy? If you haven't had great success with it, then chances are you might actually need more of a beta male energy, which has higher feminine energy. And that is something you might need to self-reflect on because it will take some give and take in that situation. But come to me because I'm an alpha and I'll tell you how to get alpha. Let me tell you.
And most lawyers, since you've been picking on us,
I love you guys.
Are alpha women, right? And sometimes it is really hard to dial that, the knob down when you are in the presence of an alpha man.
Well, anytime you're in the presence of an alpha man, their thoughts or opinions or things that they say, right, could look like it's an attack on you sometimes. Right. And sometimes it's just a delivery. They didn't think it through because we're still working on the emotional intelligence with them. And so it can instantly go into the rebuttal that you need to get to present your argument to take him down. And instead, it needs to look like, what is he really asking from me? By saying this, there's something else. What's at the root of what this person wants? And we can ask, what did you mean by that? To make him elaborate more on it. But you really need to take a beat. What's my goal with this person? Right. If my goal with this person is to connect deeper with him, then I need to guide him there versus he attacked me, so I'm going to attack him back. Instead, okay, let's get to the root of what the attack was about because it probably isn't even about you, it's about him. Right. But we need to get that out of him in a way that doesn't make him feel defensive back. Right. Because then neither of us are winning in this situation.
Right, right. Well, I'm now a part of the Spicy Club.
You guys are great, though. The way I turn you guys out, oh my gosh. You guys are so intelligent. You guys are brilliant. You know how to win. I just need to flip the winning switch on when it comes to relationships. And by winning, I don't mean an argument. By winning, I mean in looking at the win as the woo. Oh, I wooed him. Right. I was able to get him to understand me. I was able to get his perspective to shift. That's the win, not I was able to tear him down and send him to jail. Right. Or make him pay the, whatever kind of law it is. But do you understand what I'm saying? Right. I got you.
Well, now that I've been spiced, you should all consider connecting with Spicy Madi. How do we find you?
You guys can always play with my Twitter, stroke my IG, at Spicy Madi. Go to thespicylife.com, schedule a consultation with me. They're absolutely free. Listen to my podcast, The Spicy Life. I am here for you and would love to help you meet your purpose mate.
And I love Spicy Madi now. So thank you so much for joining us on Legally Uncensored.
Thank you.
Thank you, Spicy Madi, for this fiery, real, and unfiltered conversation. To our listeners, dating isn't just about finding love. It's about knowing yourself, breaking patterns, and being brave enough to attract what aligns you with your truth. This has been Legally Uncensored with Demetria Graves. Stay honest, stay magnetic, and keep navigating love on your terms. Make sure to like and subscribe to our YouTube channel and follow us on all social media platforms at Legally Uncensored.